As the F1 season revs up, all eyes are on the newly unveiled Mercedes W14 car. After a tumultuous 2022 season, the team has made numerous changes to get back to their championship-winning form. But what makes this car truly stand out from the rest of the grid? Is it the sleek black or the redesigned front nose? Stay tuned to find out. The 2022 Formula One season was a roller coaster ride for the Mercedes team, and not the exhilarating way that fans had hoped for. As F1 returned to ground effect designs, the Mercedes W14 struggled with a new buzzword that had entered the series' lexicon: porpoising. The bobbing behavior of the car on the track proved to be a major issue for the team, with drivers Lewis Hamilton and George Russell voicing their concerns about it throughout the year. Safety concerns forced a tweak to the floor design rules, but it wasn't until the Spanish Grand Prix that the team thought it had fixed the problem. However, other issues soon emerged, leaving the team struggling to find the right balance and get the tires up to optimal temperature. Team boss Toto Wolff likened it to peeling an onion, with each layer revealing new problems that needed to be addressed. The drivers lost confidence behind the wheel, and it wasn't until a late-season upgrade package at the United States Grand Prix that Mercedes started to become a real threat at the front again. Despite securing a win in Brazil, the team knew that big changes were required with the W14. Mercedes technical director Mike Elliott was wary about returning to square one. He said at the launch of the 2023 car, "We know if we tear it all up and we start again, we're going to start further backwards." It's about making those right decisions. Although we had a lot of problems last year, I think there was a lot of goodness in the car. The W14 may not have offered a drastic design diversion from its predecessor, but that doesn't mean that the team wasn't hard at work. In fact, Mercedes decided to stick with the zero-pod super slim side pod design that had served them well in the past. This design allowed for better airflow to the rear of the car, giving the team a competitive edge on the track. Despite some suggestions from team boss Toto Wolff that the DNA and architecture of the car would change, the team ultimately decided that sticking with the zero pod was the best course of action. Interestingly, Mercedes remains the only team to pursue the slim design concept, which is drastically different from the approaches taken by rivals Red Bull and Ferrari. While some may see this as a risky move, others believe that it's a bold statement of confidence from Wolff didn't consider the side pod's design a reason Mercedes didn't perform last year, but he acknowledged it could change with developments that come throughout the season. The team made some tweaks to the bodywork of the W14 at launch, particularly around the engine cover, with a deep gully to help airflow to the rear of the car in lieu of the traditional side pods. But it was far from the overhaul many thought would come given the challenges of last year. In fact, the most noticeable change on the W14 was the paint job. To help save weight, the team switched from its traditional silver livery and went back to black, used in 2020 and 2021 as part of its anti-racism messaging with the W14. This meant it could run bare carbon on most of the car and shave off a few hundred grams without impacting the overall look. Wolff said there is not tons of weight that you can save on the paint, but it shows the intent of what we do. Upon first look at the W14, the most notable change from its predecessor is the overall design of the front nose. A much shorter nose has been adopted, and the spearhead of the wing now forms more of a triangular shape, much like Ferrari's in 2022. Subsequently, the front wing end plates have been moved a lot closer to the nose of the car. This will greatly impact how the car behaves heading into a corner and could provide massive gains if proven successful. There are also signs that Alpine's rear wing design has borne fruit, although multiple teams first began adopting this midway through the 2022 season, so nothing is profoundly new here. Other changes Mercedes has made for their 2023 Challenger include a new position for the cooling inlets on the sides of the car, a slight alteration to the shark fin design, and an update to the floor underneath the bodywork in a bid to maximize the ground effect. The most significant of these is a completely new rear suspension, which wasn't really on show at the launch before the car was taken off to Silverstone for its shakedown. But the target was to give the car a bigger range of suspension travel so as to not require the super stiff setting to stabilize the aerial platform, which was a major part of the bouncing problem. If Mercedes are correct in their assessment that the barriers to solve last year's aerodynamic difficulties were mechanical, then they should finally see the true potential of this very distinctive aerodynamic concept. As Mercedes drivers Lewis Hamilton and George Russell hit the track in Bahrain for their first extended running in the new W14 car, all eyes were on whether the changes made to the car would pay off. It was at this point last year that alarm bells started ringing with the W13, and the team was keen to avoid a repeat of last season's struggles. The early signs were encouraging, with both drivers completing a trouble-free first day of testing and reporting a better feeling behind the wheel compared to last year. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff was quick to highlight the progress made on the proposing front, stating that there was no bouncing with the new car. However, the second day of testing was more challenging, with a hydraulic failure for Russell in the evening. Hamilton acknowledged that there were still some underlying things that the team was still working through, particularly with the car setup. Despite this, the team remained optimistic with the W14's potential and the progress made so far. But the team feels happier with its position compared to preseason last year. Russell said, "It feels like a step in the right direction. Comparing it to this time 12 months ago, things are running a lot smoother." He acknowledged there were still things to improve, such as the balance of the car mid-corner. But the driver's impressions are that this is a car that Mercedes can properly develop and improve without the baked-in issues of last season. Wolff called it a very solid base, while Andrew Shovlin, Mercedes trackside engineering, called it a much calmer, more stable platform to work off. Does that mean the W14 will take Mercedes back to the top? Not just yet. Russell said on Friday in Bahrain he thought it was a stretch to take the fight to Red Bull from the opening race of the season, especially since Verstappen's outfit looked terrific in testing. But with the core issues seemingly under control, there is renewed hope that the car will point Mercedes back in the right direction. Russell said, "There's no reason why eventually we can't get there at some point this year. We've always seen the strength of Mercedes and its development rate, so definitely the belief is there." Can Mercedes win the 2023 F1 title? Ferrari driver Leclerc, who finished second behind Max Verstappen in 2022, believes that Mercedes will join the championship fight when the season commences. Leclerc said, "As much as we are motivated to win, we know how difficult it will be." Mercedes will also be there too after having a very strong end to the season last year, so it's going to be a difficult championship. Leclerc is still predicting a Hamilton fight back. He said, "Lewis will never be out of the question for a championship fight. I'm pretty sure if he has the car, he will be there. We must not forget what he's achieved in the sport, and he still has it. We saw that many times last year. Lewis will be there like Red Bull will be too, and I hope it's going to be a great fight." Red Bull chief advisor Helmut Marko also stated his team fears Mercedes more than Ferrari. Marko said, "I would say that we should fear Mercedes more in 2023, mainly because they have an advantage over Ferrari in terms of strategy and reliability. Our situation is currently not like that of Mercedes at the beginning of the hybrid era. We don't have an immense lead with the engine right now. So that is very different. Mercedes had at least 50 bhp margin over all the others back then. And we shouldn't forget, 2022 has been the first year under this new set of regulations. Other teams have obviously seen what we have done with this year's car, so I think it will definitely be much closer next season. Mercedes are confident that all areas of development from 2022 have been addressed. Hamilton and Russell will be able to focus on pushing the car to its limits instead of running mid-race experiments. Mercedes could be on the march." What's your thought on Mercedes W14 and their chances of winning the 2023 F1 Championship? Let us know in the comments section below.